Yeah, we definitely need some innovations in security. I teach in my crypto and DeFi Academy. I graduate over 1,000 students, and I get them to go through this process. And when they're setting up their MetaMask wallets and their Nano Ledger X's, I tell them, don't hide your treasure from yourself in the classic, Pirates of the Caribbean style. You got your treasure map, you bury it on the island, you go back and the island isn't there, your map is wrong, and now you're your worst enemy when it comes to that. And so
I love that analogy. It's so good. It's so good. Yep.
Yeah, well, because
exactly right.
I have 2 little boys, they're 6 and 7 years old, and they love pirate stories. And one night, my son Caden said, "Papa, how come pirates have treasure maps?" And I paused and I said to him, "Because they didn't have Bitcoin." And my thought was they couldn't go to banks, and so they couldn't hold their value anywhere. So they had to have these maps that would show them where their treasure was. And it was immediately, that's what I told him. And he was like, "What's that, Papa?" And so I started coming up with these analogies. And so now I have this kind of pirate Bitcoin analogy. And one of those is, first of all, we have Bitcoin now to hold your assets when you can't trust a central bank because a pirate maybe couldn't do that. But then also you have the same problem a pirate had, which means you probably rarely found your treasure when you walked 60 paces from the coconut tree and realized it's not there for whatever reason. So
look, I mean, 60 paces could be different for different people. And the tide could have come in and moved your stuff. So there's all kinds of problems with that. In fact, I love the analogy because I've talked about one of the challenges I have of hardcore Bitcoin maxis. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but there are people who are self-proclaimed, anything other than putting your Bitcoin in cold storage and holding it forever is not a good use. I'm like, well, but here's the problem with that. If the only use of Bitcoin is to put it on a nano and bury it in the backyard, we have that. We can all go home and get go back to work, get our old jobs, because that's called gold. And gold has been doing that for 5,000 years. And if you bury it in the backyard, it doesn't degrade, whereas we don't know what happens to a nano if you bury it in the backyard. And the reality is, I think what you need is Bitcoin to become the base layer of money the same way gold is. Gold owned by the central banks, okay? And then all the countries issue their own currency. It's not money, it's currency on top of the money. And then we deposit it in the institutions and it gets lent, and that fractional reserve process creates prosperity. So the same thing has to be true of Bitcoin. It needs to be deposited, lent, invested, borrowed, utilized, and it needs to become that base layer the same way gold has. And does that mean gold goes away? Well, not tomorrow, but it certainly could. And it could be replaced for everything other than Mad Max, right? The Mad Max scenario where the power grid's down and you need the gold bar to get out of the place to cross the border. We all heard stories of Germany and et cetera. But that's a pretty small, likelihood. But what's more likely is we're going to continue to evolve and innovate, and we're going to get to a point where everything is going to be digital. So you've got young kids. I have older kids, and I always use this prop for my granddaughter. I have a 1-year-old granddaughter, and she will never have one of these. She'll never have a leather wallet, right? She'll never use paper money. She won't know what any of those things are. It will be totally commonplace to have a digital wallet, to use digital assets. And that world is coming. And it's the same as the world in which you're in the back of your car, right? No one will drive anymore. You'll be driven. And you're in the back of your car, and it'll pull into the charging station. And you won't get out of the car and put your plastic card in a slot. I mean, just no. The car will make a micropayment to the machine, right? Using some cryptocurrency, maybe Bitcoin, maybe something else. And then it will pull away and you'll get into traffic. You say, I don't want to sit in traffic. I want to go in the fast lane. You pull in the fast lane. You won't have a picture of your license plate and get in the mail a bill for $4.70. You'll have a microtransaction from the car to the lane. And so all of this digitization is going to happen, and it will take the friction out. And yes, it will harm the industry that relies on that as revenue. The trust industry revenue will fall.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.